Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz. Today is August 5th, 2015, 1:05 a.m. in Birmingham. Topic, terrorist or lone wolves? Let's see really who's who in this mix here, that there's a whole new group of people called single people that have gone out and killed people. They're beginning to call them terrorists. Lone wolf terrorists. Start with the first one I remember that I paid a lot of attention to, that Ted Kaczynski guy. I think that's his name. He killed a friend of mine. Judge Robert Vance was a friend of mine in the city that I worked for as a police officer. And Richard Rudolph, the gentleman that killed the man at the abortion clinic in Birmingham. I didn't know those people at the clinic down there. I've heard of the cop that was a guard at that time. I knew his name. I didn't know him personally. But these are the two that I'm talking about, plus one more, and that's Tim McVey. You all remember him. But what is making me mad is you have known terrorist has put on a jihad hit list 5 women, 4 Americans, and 1 Palestinian American woman. And clearly, these are terrorists who have done this. But for some reason, some insane reason, there's a Richard Fowler, I believe that's him, black male civil rights lawyer, has sided with defending the evil Muslim as well as evil blacks. And when I say sided with them, he agreed with them when they put these women on a list, that they had a right to do so. He personally said he wouldn't do anything, but he agreed with their right. That really, really ticks me off. I mean, you have the right to say anything you want, but if you agree with it, then something's wrong with you. Richard Fowler, you're crazy, or either you're one of them. But I'll say this, Richard Fowler, everything he's saying is like listening to Obama. Obama still refuses to call ISIL, ISIS, or ICE a group of terrorists, who in July alone killed a minimum of 1,332 Iraqis, with 844 of that number being civilians. The number of civilians alone tells us that ISIS are terrorists. So what is Obama hiding? Why is he refusing to label them what they are? Personally, I think Obama is Muslim, and there's no question there. I mean, he admits it. He's a Muslim, but I think he is Islamic Muslim. I think his faith is Islam. That puts him in their category. I think he could be a loose cannon just like the rest of them. But if any man choose to say nothing or to do nothing against evil that makes himself a part of that evil, Obama could have saved countless lives by calling it what it is. Instead, he made choices to aid and to stand by or with known terrorist organizations by not so much as keeping silent, but by removing the label of terrorist. In America, there's been only one, in my opinion, true lone wolf, I guess, come close to terrorist, but he was after a particular brand of people with particular labels, but he was not after a man that was Christian or Catholic or anything else. he was just after, I don't know what he's after. Nobody else does either. But that's the UNI Bomber. We all know him. And then you have Richard Rudolph that killed the man that was guarding the abortion clinic. Now, he said he expected to kill the lady that opened the clinic and not the cop that was the guard of that clinic. But he went after abortionists. He stood against abortionists. But these two cannot be labeled as lone wolf terrorists, not in the least, because it was not a religion or a religious base. Tim McVey was also not a lone wolf terrorist. He was a fall guy, and that's been proven over and over. He was a fall guy for a secret federal government mission planned. And he also had an accomplice with him, and it had all over it, Muslim, and Islam was all over Tim McVey. And they can hide it all they want, but they can't hide the truth. But they still call him that. Then you have the DC sniper. You have that Malvo guy. And then you have that guy that changed his name to Muhammad. And he was not a terrorist because he wasn't going after Christians. Terrorist goes after Christians or other Islamic or other Muslim people whose religion is Islam. And but I think, anyway, I'm going to skip a whole lot of it because I don't have time to put it down. I think I made my point as far as these three guys, McVey, Ted, the UNI Bomber, and Rudolph, were not terrorists or lone wolf terrorists. They weren't after religion, terrorist or religious base. They're after religion. And but the very moment a terrorist dies, their soul will stand in hell's fire. They are alone. The pain is far worse than any man can describe. It is black. The million-degree fire is black. There's no water. There's no 72 virgins. No one to talk to, even though men cannot talk to anyone, but they can hear their screams. I guess it'd be kind of hard to scream and chat at the same time. But in hell, he won't see anyone. He will hear their screams as they hear his screams. Now, how long will they be there? Try to count eternity, millions and billions of years. Forever. You have a worm. Your soul, they said, has a worm. It's in the Bible. And the worm cannot die. It goes somewhere. And the ones in hell never burns up. But they feel pain far more than a man can feel pain today. It is so unbelievable that they cannot create pain today in any way. No matter how you do it, you cannot make pain today as bad as being in a fire of 1,000,000 plus, maybe 10 million degrees that never ends. I mean, to be in it for a minute for punishment for your sins seems like would be enough, but no, punishment for sin is eternal. That's why Christ is eternal. He will save you forever. Or you can choose to go to hell forever. It's your choice. But I got into something I didn't want to get into, but I wanted to tell you the difference between a lone wolf and a terrorist group. Lone wolf don't go after religious people. Terrorist groups do. Jody Wolf Expoz.